Hey everyone, welcome back to The Fisherman and the Mermaid. I want to thank you for joining us. If you're a new viewer, this past weekend we went and did some diving and did a little bit of shell searching. We were successful doing both things. So come along on our journey. Enjoy.
So today I wore the GoPro on my mask for majority of the day, so all of these will be from my point of view. Dean had let me know that there was a hogfish below, so he let me get this one. I went to pull the trigger on this one and the fish got spooked too quickly. And I've also been having a few issues with my gun in that it's not firing. So again here, I tried to shoot it. It ended up going into this sort of crevice, so I never ended up pulling the trigger anyway. But here I am having another go. Really no hesitation here, I just pulled the trigger. Got a great broadside shot of this hogfish here. As we were fishing, we noticed there was a jewfish hiding underneath this coral head, and as I went down, a black grouper actually comes in on left and hides under, and only watching back this video did I notice that black grouper, but mostly I was just focused on the jewfish under the coral head. Dean also managed to spearfish a barracuda. There were quite a few in the area, and that jewfish finally came out, and here he is trying to steal our catch. This is not the first time we've had jewfish try and take food from the end of a shaft. I've also shot a barracuda and a jewfish just came, and there's a video we have during our spearfishing tournament where Dean had to go and rescue it. Anyway, a little bit of fun. We did go to a few sites today, and on our way to the next site we saw this unfortunately dead turtle. Not sure what happened here, but it's sad to see.
Pretty fresh.
So I spotted a red grouper here. Unfortunately, he went into a rock, and I believe I tried to pull the trigger, but my gun, like I said, I'd been having a few issues that day. Thought I would take a shot in the rock, but I wasn't too certain, so I went back up. You see Dean here actually got another fish that I didn't capture. But the next few videos will be of us trying to retrieve this red grouper. So we ended up taking a few shots at it. So you see here I managed to fire, and unfortunately that one didn't land.
Did he run?
No, he's under there still.
Dean was very nice and retrieved my gun in the shaft for me and gave me his gun so I could get a better shot at it. It kind of kept popping in and out of the rock. So my strategy usually with red groupers is to shoot into the rock. It can be really hard to pull the shaft out when you do, but I managed to get a pretty clear shot at him or her and managed to shoot the red grouper finally.
Hey, you can let go of the other guy.
Okay.
At this point, we had noticed that something was actually eating the red grouper inside of that rock. So we became a little bit weary, but you can see the shaft vibrating quite a bit and stirring up a lot of sand. Turns out it was actually a green moray. So Dean tried to kind of harass it a little bit. We didn't injure the eel, we just kind of startled it, and he ended up swimming into a nearby rock. But he was trying to predate on that red grouper. Dean asked me to head back to the boat and get our third gun as a backup, and we ended up firing another shot into it to try and get a better angle at this fish to pull it out from maybe where the opening is the biggest. I didn't get it on a video, but we were able to retrieve the red grouper from the hole. It was a bit of a mess with all of those shots, but we acquired it finally. So this is the same spot, and I went down on my own. I spotted quite a few mangrove snappers. And Dean managed to shoot one, as you can see there. And I had also spotted one, just kind of aiming for the biggest fish in the school. And I had tried to pull the trigger numerous times, and my aim kind of gets a little back and forth, but never ended up shooting it just because my gun literally would not fire. A little bit frustrating, and I think my gun's kind of on the way out, but this is now at a new spot. Dean managed to shoot another mangrove snapper, and this was a pretty big one. It was about 18 inches, I want to say.
Big mangrove.
Yeah. It's all the ones that are spawning are heading in from the reef right now.
Oh. I swear that's the one that I was aiming at. Because he didn't flinch.
Here we are at a new spot, and we had found this big coral head with a few different corals in it actually, and there were a ton of mangrove snappers that you can see here. Wasn't too sure about the size on these. It was a little questionable. I went down myself to take a look and just didn't feel too confident on any of these. couple mutton snappers kind of hanging on the edges of this reef, so I trailed this one for a little bit and just never felt like I could get a good enough shot, so never ended up firing it, but Dean managed to get a different mutton snapper at the same spot. I apologize for the poor camera quality. I was actually filming this on my iPhone with a underwater case, but while Dean was spearfishing, I decided to kind of swim around and look for some shells, and lo and behold, I kind of hit the jackpot straight out the gate. This is the first cowrie shell that I have ever seen in the Keys. I found these on a ton of beaches, but I've never found one this big, so I was super stoked about this one. Also, in the same spot, we found this really cute nurse shark kind of hanging out. And right next to that nurse shark, there was a small gag grouper that Dean had his eyes on here. Hard to see, the gag grouper is sort of right in the middle of the screen here, but Dean had determined it was a little bit too small. Still very cute. Also, a highlight of the weekend was seeing this large pod of Atlantic dolphins. Very cute. In the last video, they were hunting some ballyhoo, and I'd never seen them feeding in the wild before, so pretty cool.
See it right there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. There's the baby right there, you see him? And there's another one right under. You get it? Yeah, you got it.
And to wrap it up, we stopped at a very private, secluded sandbar, and it was great. I'd never been to this spot before, but they have a ton of conchs and shells, so Dean had walked around and I just had my mask and snorkel on and was picking up everything I could find. We didn't keep that much. Obviously most of these conchs are still alive, so we put them back face down, but it was really fun to just wade through the water and look at all the cool different things we could find, and had Dean drag me around. I found this old sea biscuit, and it had some live coral growing on it, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. And so a very interesting find here is the carapace of a calico crab, or a molt of some kind. This we did keep. I thought it was pretty cool. And right next to it, there was really no shortage of things to find, is a old green bottle of some kind.